Hey everybody, this is Melina from Scrapbookingwithme.com and Me Crafty Scrapper here on YouTube and Instagram. Today I wanted to go over a few ways that I like to give more character to my junk journal pages. Everybody knows pretty much about dyeing papers, whether it be coffee, tea, inks, whatever. I have already coffee dyed these papers, and they're not as inky distressed as I would like for them to be. And of course I did this before starting the video, but I do have a picture of how I brewed the coffee, put it in a pan. Here's that picture. And then I have a picture of my dining room table on top of some old towels, with towels on top of the table. The table's not on top of old towels. With my papers drying, air drying, on top of those, and here's that picture. And then about 2 hours later, while they're still damp, they're not so much where they will, they're so delicate they'll rip. They're not that damp, but they are still a little damp because you don't want them as dry for a few of these little techniques, so that you can get some a little bit of bleeding in there to make it look even more distressed. Some of the papers, these were just the plain ones that I coffee stained or coffee dyed and then let air dry. Some of them, right as they were getting dry in that 2-hour window, I blotted on a few more drops of coffee, so that gives me a little bit more of what I'm looking for. And that one is still drying, but I wanted to show you what that one looks like up against these. So regular coffee dyeing, and then here's coffee dyeing with some drops of coffee, the same coffee that's in that pan, added to the top. And then this one is still drying. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I add some character to these before adding them to your journal. I've also got some digitals. This is part of Bethany's new Spring Fling digitals that we have on the website, and I will leave a link below to that. I have some regular craft cardstock. I have some things I just printed off, a few ledger papers and postcards, things like that, on regular copy paper that I will add a few things to those too. And then I've got just some little tidbit pieces of scrap cardstock and papers from different collections that I thought we could add to some of the papers. I have a few pieces of ephemera up here, and I have some punches. I have lots of Tim Holtz Distress ink. This is not the oxide, this is the regular distress inks, and I have all the browns. All the brown fills are going to be on this video. I have my little Tim Holtz blending tool. I have this. Now you can use a regular coffee cup, but I find when you're making junk journals, the coffee cup rim on top is sometimes too big for what you're wanting to accomplish. But we're going to make coffee rings with this, and it is just the cardboard ring that is in the middle of glue dot adhesive. So I've had this for years and years and years, and I've already been doing this little technique with this before this video, and I really like how this looks in the corners of the pages once you use that ink. I have some spritzing bottles, some sprays in different colors. I'm going to be using some botanicals and florals in this junk journal when I get it put together. So I thought the greens would look really good. And then I have some reinkers, Tim Holtz reinkers, for those same ink pads, but the reinkers for those. Have a paintbrush. I have, if we do add some ephemera, I have my art glitter glue, and this comes in handy with the paintbrush when you are putting on ephemera. You can kind of glue paint it on, so that comes in handy. And then I also have some stamps, and I know some of you that watch my videos don't use stamps, and that's fine. You can use whatever you want. It's your journal. But I want to show you what cool little effects you get when you add some random stamping to some of your pages. Okay, now when you are dyeing your papers, like I said, they don't have to be totally dry. If you want it to kind of bleed into the paper a little bit, you actually want it damp. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to move around some stuff so I don't get everything in the world all inky. Oh, and this is a little standard size traveler's notebook that I got from an Etsy shop. It's been years, guys, so I don't know. I would have to look back into my history on Etsy and see where I got it from. But this particular lady made the junk journal for you. You just bought it from her, and they were pretty reasonable. So it has like a little pocket. It's got pattern paper cover on it, and I put the little notches in the paper bags here so that when I add some stuff, you know, can pull it out easily. But if you like some of these techniques on the loose paper and you think, well, I've already put my junk journal together, so I can't do any of these techniques she's doing. Wrong. You can, and I will show you how you can do some of the same stuff to a junk journal you've already put together. Maybe you haven't written in it, but you've already put it together and already bound it. You can still use some of these techniques for bound junk journals. Okay, so we are going to start with our coffee dyed papers. I'm going to move all of this. I even have some vellum in that stack. I love adding vellum to junk journals. Okay, move all this away here. And let's start. I've got my parchment, wax parchment paper behind that, so when I add inks and stuff, it's not going to get all over my beautiful desk. My custom built desk by Brent Burns. Shout out to Brent Burns there. Friend of ours, a friend of the family we've had for years and years and years. Alright, so first off, I'm going to use the frayed burlap, and I'm going to use the little mini blending tool and go around the edges of my paper. Now, everybody pretty much knows about distressing paper, so this is not a new concept or a new technique for anybody. But I like starting that way and giving it that character on the edges, and then you can get a better feel of how you want the rest of the page to look. So I want to use some of my sprays on this particular page and show you that effect. And don't be scared to use any of this stuff, because I mean, it's your journal, and even if you don't particularly like how something turns out, you can always cover it up with ephemera or you know, some journaling. So if you don't like how a corner or something works out, then you can fix it with something else. Alright, so we've got a little bit of coffee stains right through here. I like that. I want to use some of this fossilized amber. I love this mustardy color. And what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to spray it with the nozzle. I'm going to actually take that out. And you have, you know, the stem that gets the spray up to the nozzle here. Now I'm going to shake it up just a little bit more. Make sure there's no stuff at the bottom that needs to be mixed up. Alright, and I'm going to take it out and I'm going to tap like this just on the side of the cap and nozzle. And get some more character added to that page. Now, that was very easy, and it's a very easy way to get some texture and, like I said, character to your pages without much effort. And that will dry a very beautiful, ambery, kind of a mix between mustard and excuse me, a mix between mustard and a goldy brown color. It's very pretty. So if you do not have fossilized amber, you need that. It's very, very pretty. Okay, before we go away from this page, now my junk journal, I forgot to tell you, my junk journal is going to be half page. So this is 8.5 by 11 paper, and I will just be folding it this way and making my junk journal. Okay, so as you can see on the back side, since this is just regular copy paper, those show through on the back side also. Okay. I'm going to use my little circle, and I'm going to use ground espresso, and I'm going to dip my circle all over that ink pad and just kind of get it covered really well as you can, because I mean you're dipping cardboard onto an ink pad, so sometimes that's not going to cover everything, but it's okay if it doesn't too, because you want it vintage looking. Okay, so on the one corner here, I'm going to place a couple of rings. And then maybe in this other corner also. You can hear our little pup in the background barking. He is outside on his run line because it is beautiful outside. So we let him go out for a little bit, and he likes to bark at all the birds. And if anybody's walking past, he likes to bark at them, and he also likes to bark at any kind of rattly vehicle that passes by. So he is our alert, that is for sure. Okay, so we have some coffee rings on the corners, and when you flip it over, you don't have that on the outside. It's not really ghosting through as much on the back side. So if you want to turn it over and do a little bit on that side too, and I think I might go with tea stain for this side, one fully on the page down here. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so front side, back side, whatever, and then on the other side. Okay, and then I think I will use the tea dye reinker and get a good droplet and droplet, and then I'm just gonna move it around a little bit. Get my paintbrush. Move them around a little bit. Okay, and then get my rag that I keep in here, and I'm going to dot it with that mesh side that I have. This is one of those scrubber rags that has the mesh on the one side. I'm going to blot that pretty good. And you can always add a little bit of water. Get a paper plate, add a little bit of water, and add a couple of drops of the reinker to that water. And, you know, you can spritz that around with your paintbrush, kind of flick it, and get this effect with those reinkers. Alright, so this is going to be, see how that came through on that side? I love that. This is going to be like this, the front side of it, and then inside if I leave it this way, and then the back side. I might turn it this way. I like that too. I also like this. Yeah, I think that's my front cover. So, you know, you can play around with it and see which side you want as your front cover and which side you don't. So there's one. Let's do another with some of this green. This is leaf green. So I'm going to do that same technique. Take it out. And I'm going to just do some corners with this. Not all the way across. Okay, and you just sit and tap and tap and tap until you're happy with the result. And then pick up your paper, and you want to wipe off all of this so that something on the other side, you know, that you didn't intentionally do, it doesn't smear around. So there is some green on that side. Okay, and then when you close it up, this one doesn't ghost through as much as the Tim Holtz. This is a Mr. Huey's. I don't even know if they even make those anymore, but that's a Mr. Huey's there. And I think I will ink the edges of this one with walnut stain while that's starting to set up. I know you all that watch Mom's videos as far as her junk journals, that you have so many ideas. She does beautiful work on her junk journals, and some of this might not even be new to you. I might be showing you stuff that you already knew about, but if you like watching someone else work and something else coming together, I hope you are still sticking around and watching the finished products on this video. Now, once that dries, we're going to come back to this one. That one is very pretty already, I think. We're going to come back to that one after it has some time to for all those little speckles to dry, and then we'll turn it over and do some stuff to the back of that one. Alright, this one is going to get some ground espresso inked around the edges. Alright, so with this, with that still that ground espresso on it, I'm going around the edges just lightly so it looks very intentional. And I'm getting some, almost like a burn pattern, kind of, around where the paper has crinkled after dyeing it with that coffee. So I'm going to go around the edges of this and turn it over and do the same thing on the other side. I love how it catches the crinkles and the edges when you do this. And you just barely have to press down to get that effect too, but I'm going to add just a little bit more. Excuse me, it didn't want to come off. Add a little bit more to the edge just so that you can really see that coming through. I mean, this looks kind of like scroll paper, the old hundreds and hundreds of year old scroll paper. You're really getting that effect from that. But I really like that look. That turned out really good. Alright, I'm going to turn it over. Go around the edges on this side and then do that same technique. Okay? Yes, that is pretty. I like that. Very pretty, very intentional looking. Alright, I want to add a little bit of stamping to the corners here. And this is a very, very long ago retired set. It's called Itty Bitty Backgrounds, and it was from Stamp It Up. I'm going to use the tea dye with this splattered kind of look. And splatter those corners. I like how that looks. And we're going to do it to that corner and that corner also. And once you stamp, you don't have to go right back to the ink pad. You can just stamp around and get all of that off. And make it your own little look there. I love that. Okay, so we can have this as that front page with that in the corner down there, corner there, and then the back page would have it in the corner there. I really like that. That is a very antique looking page. Very pretty. Okay, and then let's see, I don't think that's still dry enough, so I'm going to put that behind there and then get this other sheet. Okay, we can watercolor on one of these, and I'm thinking I want to do some of this gold. This is from Kaiser Crafts. Don't even know if they still make this. I need to look. And this is antique gold. And since we have this parchment, wax parchment paper, I can do this here, just a little drop. As long as you have a level surface, you will be okay. So there's my little drop of antique gold. And then I've got water. I'm going to add another little drop just to the middle there. And then get my paintbrush and dip it in there, mix it around a little bit, get it good and wet. Okay, and you can do splatters with your paintbrush also. Like that. And you can also do some watercolor. That says that it's antique gold. It looks more green to me. But maybe it will dry a little differently. And then when you close it, you've got there, you've got that. Oh yes, it's really turning like almost a metallic-y looking finish to it. And you've got that. And of course, like when you coffee dyed the paper, this will have to it will have to dry again. I think I'm going to go around the edges with this paintbrush and distress those edges with that, since I've got it sitting there, and why waste it? So there is another sheet that I will add to my, I think I'm going to go over that so it's all the way through on this side also, so it looks very intentional and not just ghosted through. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside and let it dry. So there's our splattered watercolor page. I really like that side. All right, let's see here. Get a piece of chipboard back here and lay that on top of it. And I will show that at the end when it is dry. Okay, and then we're going to wipe out our paintbrush and then get that ink and water up right there. Whoop. Ooh, let's see something. That's that side of that green that doesn't have anything on it yet. I'm just going to kind of do a little mopping up. Okay, not bad. On this other side, and dab with that rag that I cleaned up with. And then this is a floral stamp. That's way too big for that block. I'll find my other block. Here we go. Okay, and I'm going to go in with my Stays On Black. Oh yes, I like that. Very pretty. And I might do a little extra notch right here. Yes, very pretty. Maybe one, oh yeah, maybe one right there at the top. You just play around with it however you like. Up here and kind of the top off at the top. Yes, that is so pretty. I like that. Okay, and then that's pretty. Okay, I think I need to fix this just a little bit. Let's add some more rings. There we go. Let's wipe that off. And then I want to splatter a little bit of this garden green through here to make it look a little bit more intentional and not like I just wiped up ink off of a wax piece of parchment paper, which is what I did. I used one side of my paper to mop up watercolor. Ooh, I really like that. Get some in the stamped. Oh yeah, really like that. Let me wipe up the parchment. See how pretty that is? I love that. Okay, and I think that will be my front there, like that. And then it will open up on that side. A little more plain, but that's okay because you can do some more journaling on the inside. But you've got that, and then it flips open to that, and then it will flip to the back side there. That is so pretty. I like that. Alright, so I'm going to let that side dry. Alright, and come back to this one. This one's pretty much dry. I like how that one looks too. And then let's do ephemera on these. Let me find them again. I put my stack over here and lost all my other papers. Okay, this ledger paper is something that I just printed myself, and I think, yes, and we'll have it like this, and then open up here, and like this. Yeah, I like that. Okay, on this front side here, I'm going to go ahead and fold it over, and I'm going to get this pretty little leaf. This comes from the Prima Nature Lover ephemera pack, the 38-piece ephemera pack. This is one of the things in there. I'm going to get myself just a little bit of water over here and clean out my paintbrush and get this green off of this edge over here too. I'm going to use some art glitter glue, and I'm going to put down a little bit here and spread it around. And I've got a very cheap paintbrush, and so all the little hairs are coming out of it. I'm fine with that because I'm going to cover it up with that, and then I'm going to wipe it off a little bit on my rag just to get that excess of those paintbrush hairs off. And I'm going to go over the top of it with some more art glitter glue and some of this fossilized amber spray, just to get it a little more vintage antique looking instead of that stark white look that it had. Go all around this. And get some of those paintbrush hairs out of there. Okay, and then I'm going to add some green splotches. To that. Okay, I like that. And after this dries, I may even add some stamping over the top of that. I don't know, but I like that, how that looks. And that will open up to a lot of regular journaling that you want to do. And of course I will ink the edges of this also, and probably once the front dries, add some more green speckles to the back. So there is that. And here's some regular craft cardstock, and I'm going to add some stamping to it. I'm going to use this gray flannel Memento ink and use the big splotches there. I'm a corner kind of girl. I go to the corner a lot, don't I? But I like that look. See, it's as simple as that if you just want to add some character to your junk journal pages. And you could have that as the front, open up to plain, or you can add something there, and then the back side has that. I'm going to add just a little bit more to this. So it kind of meets in the middle. And then on this side, I'm going to put some just in the middle where it would be folded. This is always a neat little way to add some character if you don't want to add too much to the edges. Add this just to the middles. And you will have, okay, I'm going to go ahead and fold this. My bone folder. Well, maybe I'll get my bone folder. Okay, so you've got that on the front. You open it up and you have that, the speckles in the spine. I love that. And then on the back, you've got that. But that is really cute. I like how that turns out. I might even add I'm going to flatten this back out because I really like that. I'm going to add a few more just because this craft cardstock kind of soaks up the ink, and this is a gray ink, so I'm going to add just a few more there. Don't worry, I will be wiping off my stamps once this video is done. And then I think I'm going to add some of this gold, just a few random speckles, but trying to keep it mostly in the spine. Cute. I like that. And when you open it up, it's more speckled inside, and that's going to give that, it's going to have that metallic sheen to it also. So I'm going to set this away from other stuff and let that dry. Here is that one that I watercolored that is on the ground drying. You can start to see this really pretty shimmer that spray has in it. Really like that. Well, that one is drying. Postcard things that I printed out, and maybe do a collage on it. We've done the ring, we've done splatters. Let's do a collage on this. Okay, so we will be either way it's going to be like that. So turn this way. That would make cute as far as journaling on a specific subject, like a title from a book. I like that. Let's do a little bit of collage over here on the side. So many smiles. This has got some gold foil accents on it. I really like that. And this blue here goes with that blue there. So let's try that in this little collage of somethings. I like that. And then I'll glue it down and then cut off that edge there so it is flush with that paper. Let's do that right quick. Okay, I like that. You got that little collage of die cuts there that goes right along with that blue that's in the airmail stamp on this printable. And let's ink the edges. I'm going to do the vintage photo all around the edges here. Get along that die cut really well. Kind of get the edges of that die cut there so it's not so stark white. Okay, I like that. Okay, and then let's see, is that dry yet? Not quite, but I know these are. And that one looks to be okay. So I'm going to just add some of these together just so you can get a feel of what the signature may look like once this is done. Okay, there. Put in a little tuck here and a little tuck there. And that. Put in here. And then our scroll looking singed page. It's already looking gorgeous. It's not coming off, so we're good. Let's put this here. And this is still not dry, but I will go ahead and fold it so it has its shape ready. And you can see on this one how those watercolor pools are doing right through there. So it's gold and then it's got a green edge to it. That is so pretty. I like that. Okay, so here, and then let's get that other postcard. I haven't done anything to this one, but I'll go ahead and add it in just to kind of give you a feel of what all this will kind of look like once I get the signature done and all the pages are dry. And I think I want to put a piece of that vellum in here also. Go ahead and fold that on itself before I add it in. And we can add some ephemera or something to that vellum if we want to. Okay, and then let's see if this, oh yeah, that looks pretty dry. And I don't know if the camera is going to pick it up or not, but look at that shimmer from that spray on that one. I really like that. Okay, so let's add that here. Now, I love the look of that. I love how it's already coming together and how wavy the pages are, the edges of the pages are. And then, so we got that. We've got that middle there, our watercolor, some vellum, a piece of postcard, some burnt edges. That's one of the most manipulated pieces of the paper that we did. Very pretty. I love how this is all coming together. I think I might do a little darker intentional stuff there just because it's so yellowy. It's not really going with everything else. And then that, I like that, and that is so pretty. And then here come the back sides of all of those pages. Very pretty, and that vellum, and then there's the back side of the watercolor, the back side of that craft, and there. And then I think that was all, yeah, that's all the pages that we manipulated to make them something else. And I will continue to add to this. Yeah, I think I'm going to add some green to that, or some brown, just to tone that yellow down a little bit. But I will continue working on this, and I will show you all the finished pages in a future video and show you how I'm going to bring this all together into a junk journal. Now, I told you that I would show you in this little booklet that's already got all the pages in it, but none of them have been manipulated really, other than dyeing them. So, I mean, you could come in here easily and put in stamped stuff, and you could do like this and do the off stamping and not have to worry about it getting on anything else. There. So see, you can manipulate your pages even if they're already bound. There's one, and you could spritz on this. Just put some paper back behind it. And do a few little speckles. Okay, and then all you would have to do, since it's still in, you know, it's already bound, you would just need to get some paper clips or binder clips and hold that open with that scrap paper behind it until that dries, and then you're good to go in your already bound junk journal. So don't be scared to do things in your junk journal even after you've already bound it. It doesn't have to be loose like we did today, but you can do all sorts of stuff too. You can manipulate those pages even when they're already bound. You can do all kinds of stamping. You can ink the edges, all of that stuff, even while it is still bound in your junk journal. So don't think just because you've already put the pages in your junk journal that you can't do anything else to them. You so can. How pretty that looks. That's without it inked on the edges, and then inking that torn paper on the edges. I will definitely have to do, I still have some pages drying on my dining room table, and I will definitely have to tear some of them so that I can get that burnt edge look to them when I add them into my junk journal, this junk journal. And like I said, I will be doing a future video on how I'm binding these together and putting my covers on and spine and all of that stuff. But I wanted to show you how I like to manipulate some of those pages so that they're not just plain. I like adding all kinds of character to my junk journal pages. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you so much. Don't forget to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and share it with your junk journaling friends if you want to. I would appreciate that so much, and thank you for watching to the end. That helps me so much with my YouTube channel. Y'all are great. See you later. God bless.